In this video, we're going to cover the Riceville Road and Bull Creek areas east of Asheville. My name is Dominic Tavernitti. I'm a 8-year resident of Black Mountain, North Carolina, and I've been documenting the impact and recovery from Hurricane Helene. This footage was filmed on November the 2nd, about 38 days following the September 27 storm. Let's take a look at a map to see where we're going to be. We can see Asheville here to the west, Black Mountain to the east, Swannanoa. We're going to be in this area right here. If we take a look at the watershed map, we can see Black Mountain here. I've already done a film on Montreat Wilderness and in Flat Creek as it comes down into Swannanoa River, North Fork Reservoir, and North Fork Swannanoa River as it comes down to meet Swannanoa, as well as Beetree Reservoir and Beetree Creek in this region here along Highway 70, and now we're going to be in the far west side of this watershed. Okay, let's zoom in to take a look at the route that we're going to take. As the video starts, I'll be driving west on Highway 70 and take a right onto Willson Road. We'll take a left on Riceville Road and ultimately follow its path all the way back to Highway 70, right by the VA hospital. Along the way, we're going to stop and put the drone up where Swannanoa River crosses. We'll take a detour down Old Farm School Road and put the drone up to take a look at the Swannanoa River along those areas. And we'll also go up Bull Creek and film up in that area. All right, we're taking a right off of Highway 70. We're driving west at the moment, and we're turning up Willson Road. For the most part, there wasn't a tremendous amount of damage along the road. Of course, there were lots of trees down. And here we're approaching Swannanoa River. I'd received some questions about the condition of the Warren-Wilson Trail system. It runs right along the river. And I guess as you would expect, those trails many of them right on the banks of the river have been washed out. Now these fields here are generally green and not filled with sediment. That is from the river jumping its banks and dropping a lot of sediment there. And now we are looking west. We'll see coming up on the right-hand side the sign for Warren-Wilson College. And then immediately take a left on Riceville Road. Now we're taking a left on Old Farm School Road. And what I was particularly interested in was taking a look at the topography in this area as the Swannanoa River is really constrained by the land here. So this is where Bull Creek joins the Swannanoa River. So you can, if you can see my cursor on the map, this is where Bull Creek comes and joins the river. But you can see how the Swannanoa River was significantly larger than its original or normal height, jumped the banks and cut right through the forest there. And then as the force of that water hits the steep hill, you can see how it's carved away here and left bare rock. I'm going to fast forward a bit to get around, peek around the edge here. And then we're going to continue driving, and this is where the river comes back to the road. Based on the scarring on the bark of the trees, as well as debris still left up in the trees, it appears that the river must have been 20 to 30 feet above where it is right now. That's just a rough estimate. We are facing east at this point. I'm sorry, we are facing west at this point. It was kind of low clouds. I was hoping to get a higher vantage point there, but we'll come back down and take a look closer along the river. I believe this blue line is a water line. I didn't see on the map any roads at this point. So I don't know if they were just crossing here to do repairs on the other side of the river, or if there is a missing road. I'm not sure. It's not on the map. So we are flying west along the river here with Old Farm School Road to the right. See that pipe on the left-hand side there? I don't know if that was in use. If it was, it is pretty well destroyed all along the bank of the river here. Difficult to tell if it was in use or not. You can see there are still cars left in the riverbed there, and many of these properties over here to the right sustained significant damage. You see how high the debris is there on the right-hand side, and the river must be 15 feet below the road level on the left-hand side. In this section of Old Farm School Road, was destroyed, and it's since been repaired. I believe that the road just opened up within the past week. Here we take a closer look at the river as it comes around this bend in the river. Then I drive up to where where Old Farm School Road intersects Lower Grassy Branch, and they've opened up this barricade, but have left it here for the moment. Now we have returned, and we are back on Riceville Road, headed north. And here on the right-hand side, you'll see Outward Bound. And now we are coming up on Bull Creek Road. At this apex of Riceville Road, as it comes around this way, we take a right, and we are going to go north. Now, I have to say that my expectation from living near the Swannanoa River and seeing how much damage there was from the raised rivers, that I would see more of that up here. You do see the bridge clearly was damaged. This was like a temporary fix where it's been repaired for driving. But I was met with very different type of damage up Bull Creek. But I left this section in here just so you can see the leaves are changing. When the storm hit on September the 27th, it was full foliage. The leaves hadn't started changing yet, and so all the leaves were still on the trees. Now, if you've been up here, you'll recognize this beautiful blue house on the right. And this is about where things started to change. The wind through this area had picked up significantly, to the extent that it had blown in sections all the leaves off of the trees, breaking branches and downing trees. With a little bit further up the valley here, so extensive, it essentially laid the forest down. Again, it's not something that I was even expecting to see, but it was significant. I talked to a few locals that didn't have any official wind estimates, but from my experience in Florida and hurricanes, this was well over 100 miles an hour. I would have to say in some areas, it looks like a tornado in some areas, but it's so broad on the hillside. It was just the wind in mass, perhaps as much as 140, 150 miles an hour if I had to guess. Now, for anybody that lives in this area, you'll recognize this lovely neighbor. I had a chance to speak with her for a bit. And one of her questions was whether there would be debris pickup on private roads. Now, you can see here just the complete devastation. And we'll see elsewhere from the drone footage where leaves are changing in the forest. And this should be no different. This is not a shot of wintertime. These trees were completely stripped and knocked down. To the question of pickup on private roads, I read on a Buncombe County website that they're arranging for pickup on public roads as well as right-of-ways. I would assume that that means private roads as well. So we're looking south down that valley now. Many of these homes have tarps on them and are doing repairs from downed, I assume a combination of downed trees as well as perhaps the wind pulling up some of the shingles or roofing on the homes. Even from this video, it is hard to capture the amount of trees that are down and how significant this damage is to the forest. Okay, so this is the Blue Ridge Parkway here at Bull Gap. Let me flip over to a map. So this is Bull Gap here. Much of the Blue Ridge Parkway remains closed still. All the dots that you see on the ground there are root balls turned up from the trees being tipped over completely. Now this is a good point. In the upper left-hand corner, you can see the forest there with leaves on the trees and what it looks like. The bottom right-hand side of the screen should be identical. There's no change in vegetation. It's just been completely knocked over and stripped of leaves. You can see that landslide up there by the Blue Ridge Parkway again. Now we're looking north, straight up the valley. Up on the top of the screen, you can see the Blue Ridge Parkway as it continues around the mountain. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. And you can see the forest here, but we're going to fly into a section where the wind had focused enough, again, to just strip the trees and leaves right off of the trees and knock a number of them down. So it definitely happened in an area where the wind had gotten focused because of the topography. Now the Blue Ridge Parkway is up here to the left, and we are going to cut to that, turn south, facing south. We're going to turn to face south and then fly down the valley. So we were going back, I had spoken with another neighbor and they had given me permission to drive up this private road. It was going to get me further up on the hill, but ultimately a gate was closed, so I had to turn around. But this is an idea, driving pretty much into the forest and how much wood, trees are down and wood is being cut up. Had a nice dog that gave me a tour there. Here I'm leaving the valley and just turning around. The clouds were too low to have this view when I was headed in. Now we have come back down Bull Creek Road and we are taking a right on Riceville Road. It appears the road had been damaged here. I'm not sure what the nature of that damage was. And then on the left is the Riceville Community Center and Fire Department. Now the remainder of this drive down Riceville Road back to Highway 70 is, at least at this point, is somewhat uneventful. I didn't see any major damage. Of course, lots of houses have water tanks. Perhaps they've not been restored to city water yet in this area. I'm sure there were lots of trees down. They've done a great job of getting everything back online, so you don't see too much of the impact here. And here we are driving under the Blue Ridge Parkway. And right after this, we'll come up on the VA hospital. And we're at the VA hospital now. From a friend that works there, I understand there were a lot of trees down in this area. And we're coming up on Highway 70 here. That's Ingalls on the other side of 70. Well, thanks for watching. I've recorded a number of other videos taking a look at the watersheds as well as areas around Black Mountain and Swannanoa. Please take a look at those. I'll leave a link, and thanks for watching.